Freemasons use this symbol, which is the same symbol for Apple Store, and X when it's mirrored. This symbol is a compass on top and a square below. The square creates a square which has beginning and an end. The compass creates a circle which has no beginning and no end. If the compass is the circle, which means spirit, and square is the square, which is matter, this symbolizes spirit over matter, the compass over the square. Leonardo da Vinci was showing you that you are a spiritual being in a material body. You are an individual. You have a physical body and a non-physical body. The voice in your head and the emotions you feel are eternal, but your physical body will die. The spiritual brain is the mind. The spiritual heart is the soul. The brain and heart are physical manifestations of the mind and soul. The aim is to climb the pyramid to higher consciousness, to your true spirit self, so that you can be spirit over matter and not matter over spirit. They show you these symbols in plain sight. These people are highly enlightened individuals. You will never have power if you don't have knowledge. Knowledge is the true currency of this life. Use code 25 off for the next 12 hours. After 12 hours, it will be going down to 15% off. Porn is free because you pay with your soul. Google is free because you pay with your data. When something is free, you are the product. They have 2 O's because they're watching your data. Your phone is a digital footprint of your mind. Every text you take, every person you call, every search that you type in is being recorded in a database. Therefore, your phone is tracking the collective minds of the masses. All of our behavior is being fed into an artificial consciousness, AI. You created AI by feeding your mind into these tracking devices. AI will control everything and make you a slave. Don't let your phone be a prison for your mind. That's why it's called a cell phone. Instead, spread the word to the world by reposting these videos that I make and earn an income from your phone. Many of my affiliates have quit their job, earning freedom, making an income from their phone. It's not about the money, it doesn't exist. It's the freedom you can gain from it and live the life that you truly want to live. Click sign up, fill in the form, download my videos, and repost the videos. Make this program for you so you can gain freedom and so we can spread an amazing message to the world. The link is in my bio to sign up. Demon is D-mon. Mon is moon, meaning emotion. D means negative. A demon is a negative emotion which possess your mind, body, and spirit. These entities are created by your own thought forms. You feed them by giving them mental and emotional energy. Every addiction you have is an astral entity that you have created. The more thoughts and emotions that you give to these entities, the stronger impact they have over your physical body. I, Magi Nation. You are a magician bringing thought and emotions into physical reality. You've been doing magic your whole life. Masturbation is a sin. A sin is not an action against God. The word sin means god of the moon in Mesopotamian. The moon is feminine. The feminine aspect of consciousness is intuition and emotion. She tells you what is right and wrong at all times. An action taken against what you know is right is a sin against your intuition, which leads you down an egoic path of destruction. All actions come from emotions that you felt. A sin is a negative emotion that pulls you down and lowers your consciousness, and it's an action that goes against your intuition. Religion is fear-based control. They want you to fear that you go to hell. To control your physical actions, you feel God's law every single day. You know what is right at all times. The Vatican is a snake. The snake represents Satan. Snakes are stuck to the ground. The ground symbolizes the physical world. The ground represents low consciousness, identifying with the ego. But snakes can shed their skin. They can remove layers and transform the self. This is why we see so much snake symbolism in the old world, because it represents transforming the mind. From matter, the ego, up to spirit, the higher self. Kundalini is symbolized as a snake because we're transforming energy to the brain. The snake in the garden transformed the minds of Adam and Eve. Satan is the ego, and this is the state we need to transform from. All religions show this snake symbolism because this was the ancient understanding of transforming consciousness. It scares me to think that people believe the devil is real. At this point, you should realize the devil is red because red is the lowest frequency color. So why does the devil wear horns? The horns indicate it's a goat, and goats cannot fly. They're stuck to the ground. The ground in Freemasonry symbolizes earth-based thinking, only aware of the 5 senses. Identifying with the ego, thinking you versus me all the time. This is why your heel is hell and your head is heaven, because the heels touch the ground and that represents low consciousness. Devil rearranged is deveil. A veil means illusion, something you cannot see past, which is your external physical world, and your ego produces illusions. Satan is the force of the ego inside your own mind. You know when you feel like you should do something because it's right, but you take an action against that feeling? That is the force of Satan within you. Believing in Satan externalizes all of the negative things you are creating in your reality. Why is it the Egyptians used different animals to represent different gods? This is Thoth. He's the god of wisdom. His head represents an ibis bird. The Egyptians knew the ibis bird searches for food in the mud. And Thoth is the god of wisdom who seeks truth. The mud represents the unknown and the darkness. Searching for food in the mud is symbolic of the effort required to explore and extract meaningful and hidden knowledge. The word thought originates from the word Thoth. The Egyptians purposely used the ibis bird to symbolize the process of trying to find hidden knowledge of the universe and yourself. Maybe Thoth was a real person, but also an allegory, representing our thoughts trying to seek higher hidden knowledge. Jesus never walked on water. It's a symbolic story about how you can become powerful. Water is one of the 4 physical elements. Your soul is incarnated into 4 dimensions. Fire is your spiritual dimension. Earth is your physical body. Air is your mind. Water is your feminine emotions. The water represents the emotional chaos produced by challenging situations in life. Peter was walking on water, but he became scared and fearful and fell into the water. Jesus replied, "Take heart, do not be afraid." The heart is the emotional brain. Peter then stops being fearful and then eventually walks on the water. It's a story about gaining emotional mastery and not letting our mind produce illusions. It sounds crazy, but I like to remind myself I'm going to die one day, and on my deathbed I'm going to be thinking, why did I fear? Why did I even care? None of it mattered anyway. Life can be difficult, but even more difficult if the mind is weak. You're going to die one day, just give it your best shot. This will blow your mind. The word Nasser rearranged is Satan. The word Nasser in Hebrew means to deceive. But what are they deceiving you on? They are hiding the truth about what the planets actually are. What if I told you the 7 planets are 7 forces of consciousness that create physical reality? The 7 colors of light create white light. But this is where things get crazy. If we look at a tree, we can see 7 categories of creation, 7 forces that go in to create this structure. Mars, god of the war, is symbolic of the defense mechanism of the tree, how the tree defends itself. Saturn represents the root system and the base of the tree. The sun creates the stem of the tree and allows it to grow. Venus, the god of beauty, creates the smell and the colors of the tree. Jupiter, the god of abundance, creates the fruits that we eat from the tree. Finally, Mercury generates the intelligence of the tree, how the tree communicates to other trees through the network. It is the intellect of the tree. The moon creates the leaves of the tree. All physical creation falls under 7 forces. This is why God created the world in 7 days in the Bible. It's symbolic. And there are 7 days of the week. Sunday for the sun, Saturday for Saturn, Monday for the moon. They hide this because you have direct access to these forces, and the way you can use them is LGBTQ has some shocking symbolism. Notice how their flag is the inverted color spectrum. Red comes first, low frequency, up to violet, high frequency at the top. Everyone has an etheric energy double, which is the etheric life force energy which feeds the physical body life. This is what we call chakras, 7 vortexes of consciousness. Red chakra, low frequency. This is survival mode. This is when one identifies only with the physical self. Crown chakra, violet, high frequency, is the connection with the divine and pure consciousness. But notice this is inverted, with red on the top, symbolizing identifying with the physical body, which is exactly what the LGBTQ is. You are not the body. This is why you say this is my body. It's a possession. You control the body. You are pure consciousness controlling this piece of technology. Pure consciousness is not female or male, but when you are the LGBTQ, you are identifying with the body, the root chakra on the top. This is just another tactic to keep your soul attached to the physical world and the physical body. And if you die with your consciousness addicted to the physical plane, then you will reincarnate. Jewish people did not create the Star of David. They've made you scared of this sacred symbol. The upwards triangle represents the structure of how fire creates a triangle. The downward triangle represents how water falls down. The sun is fire, masculine. The moon represents water, feminine. This symbol represents the unity of feminine and masculine forces of consciousness. Lining the masculine and feminine brains together allows you to see reality for what it truly is without illusions. Your intuition is feminine, your actions are masculine. When you align these two, it unlocks you and takes you to your life purpose and guides you towards the light, higher consciousness. This is not a Jewish symbol. It's a symbol of unity consciousness. But like everything, you can use symbols for good or bad. The Baphomet has some shocking symbolism. It's not what you think. At the top we have the fire element. The wings of the Baphomet is the air element. Here we have fish gills, which represents the water element. And at the very bottom we have the earth element. Fire, air, water, earth, representing the four bodies of consciousness. Fire spirit, earth body, air mind, water emotion. Fire spirit, the higher mind. The goat, the animal lower mind. Do you live in the higher mind or the lower mind? Is the moon emotion controlling you? Or are you standing on top of your emotions' control? This is not the devil. It's a symbol that's been demonized to make you not look into the details, because this is a symbol of your consciousness and how it's operating in the higher mind or the lower mind. Let's clear some things up about the planet Saturn and its relationship to the deity Satan. We need to understand the term as above, so below. As above, lightning is the same structure as brain cells. Lightning is the macrocosm, the big. Brain cells is the microcosm, the small. But they carry the same structure, which means the universe is fractal. The big is reflected in the small. As above, so below. The macrocosm of the 7 planets would be them influencing and shaping the energy on the material plane. On a microcosmic scale would be you. You hold the 7 planetary forces within your own consciousness. For example, we use Mercury, our intellect. We use the moon, our emotions. We use the sun, our actions. We use Saturn, our time. You see what I mean? These planetary forces are literally aspects of your own consciousness, as well as energies outside you as well. As above, so below. As within, so without. Therefore, the god Saturn represents anything that limits and restricts us in life. For example, time. Time would be a restriction and a limitation that we possess in the material world. Therefore, it's governed by Saturn. Saturn rules the material world because the material body is a restriction for consciousness. Consciousness is infinite and limitless and has infinite potential. You can be anywhere, anything, anytime in your mind's imagination. Saturn is anything that obstructs us, that keeps us, holding us back. This could be a negative belief, a negative thought, a negative emotion. This is why Satan is linked to the god Saturn. But this does not inherently mean Saturn is evil, because we learn and overcome these obstructions and gain wisdom from this. Hence why Saturn is known as the master or the great teacher. However, in today's world, Saturn's energy is abused, and when Saturn's energy is unbalanced and abused on people, people become very limited, which is limiting the mind, keeping people in low consciousness, keeping people bound by laws. Man-made laws are governed by Saturn. Anything that restricts and holds back consciousness is symbolizing Saturn. This is why we see Saturn symbolized in many religions, because religion is a form of restriction on consciousness, keeping the mind limited to a certain belief system. So just remember, nothing is inherently evil. It's our mind's perception on how we give it a positive or negative charge. Everything is neutral. It's how we perceive it. The devil does not exist. The word devil was never found in the early Bibles. Instead, it was called a spirit of evil. A spirit of evil could be a destructive thought or a destructive emotion. A demon is a demon. Mon is moon, meaning emotion. The moon represents the feminine side of consciousness, emotion. Demon is a D, meaning negative, mon, meaning moon, emotion. It's an emotional force that possesses your mind, body, and spirit. Everything has been reversed. The universe is mental. Everything exists in your mind. The devil, demons, or just aspects of your own consciousness. Bank of America is 33. Their logo is 3 11s, adding to 33. Aldi sounds like all die. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 33. There are 33 degrees of Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Water goes from a liquid to a solid at 33 degrees. The 33rd degree of Freemasonry is when one becomes illuminated. Maybe these corporations are using hidden teachings to their advantage. I'm not claiming anything, I'm just pointing out the symbolism. You never die. You have more than one body. You have a physical, etheric, astral, and mental body. Every physical object has an etheric energy double. Etheric body connects the astral body to the physical. The ether is the barrier between the physical and the astral. That's why the word together has ether in it. Together. Bringing the two worlds together. The word either is ether. You're on either side of the ether. In the daytime, you're in the physical. In the nighttime, you're in the astral. You know how you can imagine the layout of your house that you grew up in? That is the astral plane, your imagination. Every physical object in the physical world was pulled out of the astral dimension of the imagination. We think, we imagine, we give energy to it, we take physical action. The physical world is crystallized thought. The astral world is lucidic thought. That's why you can change your dreams if you change your thoughts. Physical plane is just more dense than the astral plane. The sun and the 7 planets are etheric energies giving life to the physical world. The word astral has star within it because above the physical is the astral plane. You can't go to space in a spaceship, but you can go with your astral body. Even the Bible talks about astral projection. And the Egyptians definitely knew about this. The Simpsons reveal the truth through symbolism once again. Take a look at this. Here you see his astral body leaving the physical, entering the astral plane. And again, in Adventure Time, another kids program, you see the astral body leaving the physical and ascending up to the sky. We even see this in ancient Christian artwork. We see Jesus in a white robe. White is symbolic of spirit or the astral light body, pointing up and ascending towards the celestial kingdoms, what religion likes to call heaven. Before religion, it was the ancient truth of accessing the celestial kingdom, or what we call the astral plane today, the 4th dimension. The Egyptians used the bird to symbolize the astral body as it can fly. Tomorrow is a full moon, and this is what I will be doing to take advantage of this, and hopefully you can do this as well to create the reality you wish. The moon is your subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind, just like the moon, has cycles. On the full moon is the time when the subconscious is wide open like a portal. It's very easily accessible during the full moon. So on this day, we need to make sure that our subconscious mind is taken care of. If you indulge in any low-level pleasures such as scrolling, sex, whatever it is, any addictions, then you are planting these feelings, these actions into your subconscious mind. You'll start to believe them and you will start to act more upon them, because the subconscious mind is what controls 90% of your actions. For example, if you suffered from loneliness as a child and you believe today that you are lonely and you don't have much self-confidence, then guess what? Your actions will be seeking validation from others. You may be posting pictures, statements on your social media to try and seek validation from others. So the subconscious mind is always controlling our actions. So if we can install a belief of success, freedom, wealth on this day through rituals like affirmations, visualizations, meditations, you can install this belief, this feeling into your subconscious, which will then slowly push into your actions after this day. And if you can install the belief of freedom, wealth, and success, then your actions will start to naturally take action towards that belief, because your beliefs are always trying to be validated through your actions. I will be doing affirmations, rituals, and meditations of visualizing my reality that I wish. Or if you have any problems in your subconscious, you can try and rewrite them with the opposing feeling. Another tip on this day is that it's very easy to astral project, gain deep meditations, and have out-of-body mystical experiences, because the subconscious is the gateway to higher realms of consciousness. Jesus never existed. Jesus symbolizes the sun, with the 12 disciples, the 12 zodiac signs, the 4 gospels for the 4 seasons of the sun. Christians go to church on Sunday for the sun. Easter is the return of the sun. When the sun passes over the winter and enters Aries, this is now Easter, which is known for the resurrection of Jesus. The Jews call this the Passover because the sun has passed over the winter and entered Aries, and they eat lamb on this day for Aries. Judas is the J constellation, Scorpio. When the sun goes past Libra and enters into Scorpio, the sun dies in the wintertime, and it's portrayed by Judas, Scorpio, the J constellation. When a scorpion bites you, it looks like a kiss, which is why Judas kisses Jesus to betray him. Horus, Jesus, and Mithra all had 12 disciples, born on the 25th, dead and resurrected for 3 days, and born a virgin. It's all an allegory for the sun, because the sun is a physical manifestation of God's energy, feeding life to the physical world. Why is it Freemasons wear this symbol? Even Gmail uses this. Even the Egyptians. Freemasons wear the apron from the waist down. The body is a reflection of the higher and lower self. The base desires, sex, food, and power is from the waist down. The apron is a symbol of controlling the lower self. Apron originates from stonemasons, the original people who carved stones. Stonemasons did their labor and work wearing this apron. Therefore, it's a symbol of doing the Masonic work. In the context of Masonry, this is not physical labor. Just as a stonemason tries to make a perfect stone, the labor is on the mind and the heart, and crafting a higher consciousness from matter to spirit, and raising their frequency in discipline, going from the reptilian brain to the neocortex, from heel hell to head heaven. Freemasonry is not evil, it's how you use the knowledge that you gain from it for good or bad purposes. Parents are a pair who rent. Because you don't own your child, you sign them away using a signature. You sign your nature. Your signature is a sig, which is a sigil, which is a symbol used in magic. An entrance is an entrance. To enter altered states of consciousness and higher dimensions, you have to put yourself in a trance. This is the entrance to higher dimensions. The Freemasons show an entrance to higher consciousness. Trance is when the mind is turned off, keeping your awareness in the state just between a wakefulness and a sleep. You can experience higher dimensions of consciousness. Listen rearranged is silent. The side of your head is called a temple. Your head is the temple of consciousness. The English language is filled with hidden spells.
They always tell you the truth in plain sight. Dreams are other realities in the astral plane.
Ouch! Where am I? Is that me? Or is this me? Am I still dreaming?
Evolution is a lie. You are not a human on a planet. You are a light being. Human is hue-man. Hue is an attribute of a color, and color is a form of light. Humans are light manifested in physical form. Kirlian photography can show you this. True evolution is about your soul. Soul is in the physical world right now. When we master the body, we can then start mastering our spiritual body, ascend to higher realms of consciousness. When a baby becomes aware of the world outside of its mother, it seeks a way out and is born. As above, so below. When your soul becomes aware there are dimensions beyond the physical, it seeks a way out. You are both spiritual and material. The intellectual mind is the bridge between the spiritual self and the material self. We have a lower mind which operates and survives in the physical world, and a part of our mind that creates in the astral plane and imagination realm. We have to master the beast-like nature the material body has, and then move on to mastering the spiritual. True evolution is about your soul incarnating into this world and moving on to higher worlds. Did you know Jesus was initiated into secret societies? In Matthew 4-11, Jesus has to fast for 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. In order to join a secret society and mystery school, the initiate has to go on a trial. The initiate's blindfolded into the darkness and stripped from any material things, forcing them to face their inner self and their lower mind, so they can be spiritually reborn again. This is why Satan, the ego, the lower mind, comes to Jesus and tempts him while he's fasting in the desert. The desert represents the void the initiate has to go into because it's lifeless and stripped from comfort. The initiate must be removed from all worldly distractions so they can face their raw mind. Jesus' fasting represents stripping away the material desires and confronting the lower self. Jesus fasting in the desert for 40 days represents an initiation trial into the Hermetic mystery schools, forcing them to go within, face themselves, and to be reborn again spiritually. They poison your water to calcify your pineal gland, and your pineal gland is the radio antenna which connects the body to the mind. No, the mind is not the brain, and the spirit world is not out there or outside of you. The spirit world is simply the world inside the mind. You see, the mind is the bridge between the physical man and the spiritual man. The screen you use in your mind to imagine a red apple is the same dimension that feeds the physical world. Look at everything around you. Everything was imagined in the astral, the spiritual plane, then brought into physical existence. They do not want you having access to your imagination or the world inside your mind, because you are eternal there, and inside that world, you can consciously shape your reality through imagination. They don't want you using your imagination because this is the power that shapes your future. They do not want you a conscious creator. They want your mind stuck and locked in only your five senses, living in reaction and not becoming a commanding creator. You don't have back pain. You have trauma in your nervous system. Nervous system stores trauma. Every time you fall over, your body tenses up to brace for the impact. Every single tension and brace we have experienced through our lives is stored somewhere within our nervous system. If this tension is not released, it can manifest as a physical sensation such as back pain, joint aches, or even disease. This is because your body is an electrical energetic system. Before there are physical problems with your body, there are energetic problems in your field. If the energy is not flowing correctly, it will manifest in the body as a physical sensation. Matter is created by energy. Energy comes first. This is why yoga is so important. Yoga stretches out the nervous system and releases any energetic problems, allowing energy and electricity to flow freely. The church calls yoga demonic because they don't want you to understand your etheric body. You are not just a physical being. You have many different dimensions. There's so much more that goes into this. The Garden of Eden is a story about you. Genesis is the start of your incarnation. It's about your fall from unity into duality. As a child, you were holistic. You expressed yourself freely without fear or shame, without suppressing parts of yourself to please society and fit in. You only took action on what was feeling right in your heart. You would never hurt, kill, or steal from anyone. You had no self-identity. You had no ego. You saw your parents as an extension of yourself. You were not separate. You were one with the world and nature. This is Eden, the true state of consciousness. As you grew older, you transformed, symbolized by the snake. The snake is a symbol of transformation because it sheds its skin. In early childhood, you saw the world through the right hemisphere of your brain. Holistically, Eve represents this feminine brain, right hemisphere. Eating the fruit symbolizes destruction. Eating is a destructive process. This represents a shift and a transform in Adam and Eve's consciousness, which is you. The left hemisphere of the brain rose in influence. It separates, analyzes, builds identity. This shift corresponds to Eve's encounter with the serpent and eating the apple. Adam and Eve then realize they are naked. Nakedness symbolizes self-identity. They become self-aware and conscious. As you grew older, you too became conscious. You formed an ego, aware of conditioning. You became aware of society and conditions. You start to suppress aspects of yourself to fit in. You start to wear this ego and this mask to encounter the world. This is when your consciousness becomes divided and you become aware of good and evil as you were unified before. This is the fall of every human that joins Earth. It's a psychological transformation that we all go through, from unity into a divided self of adulthood. The path now is to return back to Eden, which is even, back to unity, beyond the ego and transcend division to rediscover unity consciousness. The internet is a demonic artificial version of the true reality. That's why it's called an internet, why you go on a web site, the World Wide Web. The internet logo shows a web. The United Nations uses the net over the earth because the real reality is a net. The Egyptians called this the sky god Nut, where the word net comes from. He symbolized covering over the earth like a net because reality itself, it's a net. We are all connected through the collective consciousness. You see this web everywhere, in veins, your body, your nervous system, in trees, leaves. Everything in nature follows this pattern. Though we appear separate in physical reality, the truth is that we are all connected. God is the tree trunk, we are the branches, different expressions of the same consciousness. This is why God is all-seeing and omnipresent, because he sees and acts through us all. The internet copies this design, but it is an imitation of God's creation, a false version of the real web of life, a man-made system of artificial omnipresence. The control structure seeks to be like God, all-seeing and all knowing, but only through the counterfeit reality. Soon you won't be able to access the internet without a digital ID. Just as you need an ID in the physical world, the internet is now another world. There will be no more fake accounts, no more anonymous people. Every move will be traced, tracked, and monitored to gain full control. It's an artificial reflection of the real reality.
When you meet someone, there is a frequency balance between your two energies. If you are vibrating very high and their frequency is very low, your frequency will decrease and their frequency will rise to meet in the middle and balance out your two energies. This is why you feel drained around certain people, because your electromagnetic field is not just an energy aura around your body. It is an energetic manifestation of their consciousness. It contains their thoughts, beliefs, emotions, traumas. It's their internal state of consciousness manifesting externally as energy. People can steal your energy. So if you're vibrating on a high frequency, be careful of who you keep in your surroundings, because your energy is always trying to balance out with the people's energy around you. And if you're around low frequency people all the time, they can pull down your energy and even infect your mind.
Stressful thoughts can bring grey hair, but the reverse is also true. A positive, empowered mind can direct healing into the physical form. Your body can heal itself. It's designed with self-regenerating technology. If you cut yourself, a scab will appear and heal it without even you thinking about it. Within your subconscious mind are the codes of regeneration. On a bigger scale, if you develop a disease, your body is always trying to heal it, but it often cannot because toxins are constantly being placed inside. Just as a scab will never heal if you keep picking it off, disease will not heal if you every day continue adding toxic foods, starches, smoking, and harmful substances into the body. The body spends its energy fighting the new poison instead of the disease. When you remove these toxins and return to a fruit-only diet supported by herbs and sea moss, the body finally gains the space to regenerate and restore itself. With fruits, fasting, herbs, sea moss, and a mind rooted in positivity, you can unlock the full regenerative power within your body. Join my Telegram in the bio. ChatGPT is like your mind. If you ask it, is sex good for me? It will list every benefit. If you ask it, is sex bad for me? It will list everything negative. The answer it gives depends entirely on the question you ask. Your mind works the same way. Whatever belief is planted in your subconscious, the conscious mind will search for evidence outside of you to validate it. If you believe you are ugly or a failure, your conscious mind will scan your environment to reinforce that story, shaping your perception and making it your reality. But if you hold the belief that you are powerful, capable, and able to overcome anything, then your conscious mind will seek solutions and prove that belief to be true. Be careful what you believe, because a belief is what you validate. Reprogram your mind to be a powerhouse of command with meditations, symbols, affirmations. These practices transform it into a powerhouse. The mind must become a command center, not a reaction center. Join my Telegram in the bio. I created my dream life by using this symbol. My dream life is simply freedom. This symbol can be used to create any reality. It consists of 7 circles with an 8th circle around it. You have free will, and free will operates within the boundaries of 8 laws, 8 circles. It's a flower because the flower represents the process of manifestation, going from nothingness into something. Each one of these 8 circles represents a different law. First law is mentalism. All physical objects begin as a thought, then it's manifested into physical reality. The universe is a mental universe. Second law is as above, so below. What we think in the mind is what we feel in the heart. As above, so below. Your external reality is a projection of all the thoughts you thought in the past. As within, so without. Then the law of vibration. What you think about becomes energy and vibration within your energy field. Then you attract more of that vibration and energy. Think and feel as if the reality already exists. Become the vibration. Then polarity. Hot and cold, water and ice. They are the same thing, just different temperatures. You can transmute water into ice. You can transmute a negative or limiting belief system into an empowering one. Then the law of rhythm. Subconscious mind works in rhythms and responds to patterns. Make your day structured and create a rhythm every single day that pushes you towards your manifestation goal. Once you keep doing this, your subconscious will literally create that reality on autopilot. Cause and effect. Karma does not exist, it's simply cause and effect. The word karma simply means to act or to do. Literally means action. Take physical actions to create that reality. Don't just sit around meditating and believing. Stop trying to change the external world because the external world is already manifested. Change the cause, which is your mind, your internal world, and you will see your external reality shift. Then we have the law of gender. In order to create a baby, the masculine and feminine have to come together. In order to create a reality, the masculine and feminine have to come together. Use your masculine forces, will and action, and your feminine forces, imagination and emotion. Combine them and you give birth to reality. Then we have the lost eighth law, the law of care. You're watching this video because you have a care. If you lose care, you'll continue to scroll. Care is the heart, and this is the prime generator of your reality. You go to work because you care about paying the bills and living in a house. Care is the prime generator of your actions and reality. And that's why there are 8 circles creating the flower. There are 8 laws governing consciousness which create physical manifestation. Botox is poison. Botox is Bo-tox. Bo is Swedish, meaning to live or dwell. Tox is toxicum, from Latin, meaning poisoned. Botox means to live poisoned. Every cell in your body possesses an electromagnetic field. Cells create the organs, and the organs create the systems, and the systems create the whole body. The diseases in your body start on a cellular level. The cells then affect the organs, and then the organs then affect the whole system. To put poison in your lips is to put poison in the rest of your body. Organs are organisms, they're living beings. Body is an intelligent temple. I'm not here telling you how to live. I'm just giving you the knowledge for you to make your own decision. The amount of detail going into Tutankhamen's mask is mind-blowing. This is the mask of Tutankhamen, an Egyptian pharaoh. It's not a coincidence they use gold and blue, symbolizing the colors of the sky during a sunrise. But it doesn't stop there. The sunrise to the Egyptians represents the awakening of the mind. As light enters the world, light enters the mind when we begin to awaken to our true nature. The snake on top of his head has meaning. The head is the temple of the mind, and the snake is a symbol of transformation. Snakes hold the ability to transform themselves and shed their skin. The snake on a head represents mental transformation, transforming the mind from base consciousness to higher consciousness, also known as mental alchemy. Alchemy has the word chem in it, which is the old word for Egypt. Alchemy, chemistry, all of this knowledge comes from Egypt. If we turn the mask around and look at the back, and we turn the brain around and look at the back of the brain, the cerebellum, trying to show you the reptilian brainstem and the cerebellum, which is associated with the lower animalistic mind. There is so much more that goes into this. Make sure to drop a follow.
Charlie Kirk has been shot dead in front of thousands of people. Whether you agree with his political views or disagree, whether you think he's controlled opposition or not, it's completely irrelevant. But to see the comments underneath the videos of him being shot dead is absolutely shocking. People praising his death, people happy that he's died. It's so sad to see. As humanity, we complain that the world is a mess, the world is horrible, there's so much war, division, but we never look within. The world is a reflection of our internal world. And if we continue to spread hate and praising people's death, the world will continue to be a horrible, cold, unloving place. We need to generate care for one another to build a better reality. That's what we are. We're builders. We are creators. You've been creating 24 hours a day since the day you were born. It's impossible not to create. We need to create a better reality. All of us contribute towards the building project of Earth. We all need to generate care for one another, whether you disagree with someone or not. This is completely irrelevant. I haven't seen much of his content. I don't really know much about him. But to see the comments of people being heartless and praising his death is absolutely shocking. My wishes go out to him, his family, and anyone that was affected to this. And I am not affiliated with anything with him. I am not saying I agree with him. I don't know much about him. But this is strictly to the people that are making horrible, heartless comments.
3 things humans need to know before we physically die. Number 1, you never die. Nothing can escape the universe. And because nothing can escape it, that leaves you with 2 choices in your life. The path of self-mastery, where you master and control your consciousness and your thoughts, or the path of ignorance and chaos, living in chaos, not mastering your thoughts, which is the worst thing you could possibly do. Number 2, when you die, you cannot escape yourself or distract yourself. Your internal world is what most people are running from. They constantly distract themselves with food, pleasures, entertainment to distract themselves from their internal world. Imagine everything was stripped from you, your phone, every distraction, everything you've ever known, and you're left with your thoughts and internal world. Could you cope? If the answer is no, you have some work to do, because when you die, you cannot escape yourself. You're stripped of your physical body and you're left with your internal world. Imagination is your biggest power when you die. In the physical world, you see into the material world using your two eyes. But when you die, you see using the mind's eye, which is imagination, which is the astral plane. So if you cannot vividly see something in your mind's eye, we need to gain the ability to see in the astral dimension. If you have lost your connection to your imagination, comment guide and I'll send it over to you. And to give you one more tip, when you die, you need to make sure that you have removed all addictions and attachments to the material plane. If you die with the desire of sex, status, physical sensations, when you die and you pass on to the astral plane, you cannot fulfill the physical pleasures in that non-physical realm. Which means you will suffer, you will create horrible imaginations, and you will want to return back to the physical plane.
With everything that's gone on this week, don't you think it's a little bit strange how it's all happened around the full blood moon?
Charlie Kirk's death and the incident on the bus all happened within this full moon period. The moon works in rhythms and so does your subconscious mind. Sun is the masculine conscious mind, fire, and the moon is the subconscious mind, feminine, water. The subconscious mind during this period of the full moon is more accessible and easily programmed. Just be very careful of what we are implanting within our consciousness within this period of the moon. Because the most dominant thoughts and emotions you feel during this period of the moon easily becomes a part of who you are in your subconscious mind. 90% of your thoughts and actions are coming from your subconscious mind.
If we take a look at these caps, we have the number 47. 4 plus 7 is 11. There are 3 of them, 11, 11, 11, which adds to 33. What does the number 33 actually represent? Jesus dies at the age 33. Then he is resurrected. The Kabbalah tree has 10 circles, 22 little pathways, and 1 hidden circle, Dat, which adds to 33. And this is a blueprint of how pure consciousness filters down and creates the material physical world. You can use this to go from physical consciousness back up to pure spiritual consciousness. And it's associated with the death of the ego and then reborn spiritually as we ascend our consciousness up the tree. A Freemason is reborn again at the degree of 33, because at the 33rd degree their ego has now died and they have resurrected into spiritual awakening. Number 33 represents death and resurrection. Charlie was shot dead and he will resurrect into the spirit realm. 4 plus 7 is 11, and 11 is another Masonic number. These two pillars create the number 11. These two pillars represents the inside world of consciousness and the external world of consciousness. The sun on the top represents what you can see, the material body, the physical world. Moon on top is the nighttime, represents what you cannot see, the internal world, thoughts, emotions, and the forces of consciousness. There's so much more that goes into this, but they speak to you in a subconscious language called symbolism. When humanity learns to read symbolism, a great veil will be removed from the eyes of men. Why is it Jesus is always shown in a vagina? Early Christianity always show you this artwork. The vagina is a portal into the material world. The vagina is a symbol of birth. Jesus dies and he is born again. The Bible says you must be born again to see the kingdom of God. To be born again is not talking about reincarnation. To be reborn again is a spiritual process all of the ancients had to do in order to gain higher consciousness. It's talking about the rebirth of your mind. To see the kingdom of God, we have to be born again and destroy our lower self. Your heart generates your reality. The heart is the care, and you only act and generate reality on what you care about. You care about living in a home, so you take the actions to generate money to pay the bills. To be reborn again, we have to let go and remove all of the desire and care for the material world and the lower mind. Give our heart to the spiritual things such as knowledge, God, and spirit. Because heaven is not a place you go after death. The state of consciousness your mind operates from, and so is hell.
You have to let go of the ego, the identifying with the body, the name, the job, the desire for status, money, and fame, and give our heart and desire to God and Spirit. Then you will be reborn again, and you will achieve higher consciousness. The vagina is a symbol of spiritual rebirth. It's quite scary when you realize the reason why certain songs get stuck in your head. This is because music is a form of magic. The word music literally says me, you, sick. It makes you sick. Mentally, physically, emotionally. The reason you can't get certain songs out your head is because of this terrifying reason. It's because your subconscious responds to patterns. The repetitive beats, the repetitive words and choruses help create a pattern that the subconscious responds to. It invokes an emotion with the beat, and the stronger the emotion you feel, the more it deeply impresses your subconscious mind, making you remember the lyrics. Don't you think it's strange how you can't remember what you did yesterday fully, but you can remember a song you listened to years ago? That's because it deeply impresses your subconscious mind and literally becomes an aspect of you. If you're listening to drugs, sex, alcohol, and partying music, them words are going to be impressed into your subconsciousness and become a part of you. You're going to unknowingly start to think, act, and feel to do party, drugs, sex, and all the things that the music is talking about. Music is a powerful spiritual tool, and it can be used to destroy your mind or uplift your mind into higher states of awareness. Now you know the reason why these rappers are paid millions. Because in the eyes of the elites, they're using these people as not as artists, but as dark magicians to plant messages into the collective consciousness. Keep them stuck worshipping money, the material world, and stuck in a low base consciousness and a low frequency. Word of the day is, use music as a spiritual tool to uplift you and not trap your mind in base material consciousness. It's terrifying when you figure out the reason why alcohol is given to us on such a mass scale and so easily accessible. The word alcohol comes from Arabic, which translates from alcohol to alcohol, meaning body eating spirit. The modern day for alcohol in Arabic is al-ghul, which means demon. This is why a specific alcoholic beverage called a gin is also the same word for a spiritual entity on the astral plane called a jinn with a J. Jinn is a negative energy form within the astral plane. What's even more terrifying is that alcohol is basically a potion. Witchcraft and magic never disappeared from the ancient times. It's still active and used today, yet people are just not aware. A potion is something that changes the consciousness of an individual. When you drink alcohol, each alcohol type is a different potion invoking a different feeling or spirit. Vodka is also called a spirit, a type of alcohol. And vodka is a potion of aggressiveness. Whiskey tends to induce confidence and drowsiness. Wine invokes the feeling of lust and euphoria. Each alcohol is a different potion invoking a different modality of consciousness within the body. Alcohol is a potion that invokes spirits into the body, but a spirit is not some entity. The astral plane is the form of energies, and when you take certain potions, it can invoke the spirit into you, which is just an energy form, which is simply just an emotion. An emotion is a spirit that drives the physical body to take action. If you drink lots of vodka, that will invoke the energy of aggressiveness within your heart and produce that emotion, and you will act that out. Possessed by spirits is possessed by energy forms, which is simply just your emotions. If you want to kill brain cells, reduce the amount of oxygen that reaches your brain, and lower your consciousness, then drink alcohol. Unfortunately, it is now the end of summer and we're moving into the autumn time. Here's everything you need to know to grow spiritually and use the seasons to your advantage. Best thing you can ever understand is as above, so below. A daily cycle is a small version of a yearly cycle. 6 a.m. is spring when the sun rises. 12 noon midday is the summertime. 6 p.m. when the sun sets is the autumn time. Midnight is the winter time when it's dark. Daytime is the summer. Winter time is the nighttime. Universe exists in fractals. As above, so below. The big mirrored in the small. God's consciousness is the big, your consciousness is the small. Same mind God used to manifest and think everything into existence, such as the earth, the stars, and everything in nature, is the same mind you use to think your reality into existence. As above, so below. You are the universe. The body is a microcosm, a miniature world mirroring the larger universe. Cycles of the sun, day and night, winter, summer, are the same cycles that happen within your mind and consciousness. Cycles of the sun change the earth, day and night, summer and winter, but the cycles of the sun also change within you, your consciousness. The daytime is outward expression with the physical body. The nighttime is internal expression with the spiritual body. You have a person outside the mind, the physical body, and you have a person inside the mind, the spiritual. Dreams take place in the spiritual, external world takes place in the physical. Now that it's changing into the autumn and we're going to be going into the winter time is associated more with the spiritual internal world. The sun's electromagnetic rays are weaker during the winter, which produces less brain activity and less brain waves, making you more connected to your internal spiritual self. It's easier to have astral projections, lucid dreams, and mystical experiences in the wintertime because of this. The wintertime is the inhale of the universe, the summer is the exhale. Use the wintertime to work on your internal world as you are inside your house more, and you can work inside your mind more. This is how you sync your consciousness with the cycles of the heavens. This is what all the ancients did. With that being said, I'm Harry B. Joseph. Make sure to drop a follow. And this is called the Book of Wisdom in my bio. Freemasons wear this symbol, also known as the Masonic square and compass. What does it actually mean? On the top, we have the compass, which creates circles. Below, we have the tool of a square used to create lines and squares. This is not talking about geometry. This is an allegory. The surface area of a square can easily be measured, symbolizing matter, the material world, what can be measured. However, the surface area of a circle cannot be measured to an accurate number. It's impossible. Compass represents the circle, which cannot be measured, symbolizing the spiritual forces of the mind and consciousness. Compass is on top of the square. The spiritual that cannot be measured is ruling over what can be measured. Spiritual over the material, the immeasurable over the measurable, symbolizing the forces of the mind ruling over the material body. Most people live in the opposite. Their material body rules their mind, their thoughts, their actions. This is what we call base consciousness. Freemasons acknowledge that we live in a mental universe. Everything is crystallized thought. Mind is the cause, external reality is the effect. Compass over the square teaches your mind to be ruling over your body. Invisible, internal, ruling over the external, visible. This is how you become a conscious creator, instead of reacting to the world and living in continuous cycles of negativity. Most people are creating unconsciously. Why is it Freemasons use this symbol? See this on Drake's album cover. They represent division. Consciousness expresses itself in two ways. Masculine energy of consciousness, symbolized as the sun, and feminine forces of consciousness, with the moon. They represent the two polar extremes of consciousness. The masculine side of consciousness is willpower, actions, and thinking. The feminine side of consciousness is emotion, imagination, and intuition. These two pillars are seen at the entrance of the Temple of Solomon. The Temple of Solomon is you, Sol meaning the sun, masculine, and Mon meaning the moon, feminine. These two pillars represent the doorway into the self, so that we can reach a higher consciousness by understanding our internal world. Represent extreme division, and the Mason's job is to unify these two extremes of consciousness and meet in the middle. This is why you always see people standing in the middle of the two pillars. The person in the middle is the initiate who is entered into the mystery school. They are the person who are balancing the forces of consciousness in order to reach a higher understanding. In a negative context, this symbol represents extreme division. It also represents the number 11. Don't you think it's strange how the mark of the beast 666 adds up to 9? Jesus finds 153 fish on the right side of the boat. number 9. 144,000 go to heaven according to the Bible, which also adds up to 9. The number 9 is the number of human consciousness. There are 10 spheres on the Kabbalistic tree of life, which is a blueprint of how higher dimensions of consciousness come down and condense to create the material world. The 9th sphere is Yesod. Yesod is your own personal consciousness, as the higher dimensions of universal consciousness come down and all condense into the 9th sphere and then the material world. The number 1 is the universal consciousness, how we're all one consciousness. The number 9 is your own personal consciousness. And the anagram represents the 9 different personality types of consciousness, which means the mark of the beast is a state of consciousness, and 144,000 chosen people will not go to heaven. It's actually a state of consciousness. The right side of the boat where they find 153 fish is the right hemisphere of your brain. The fish represents wisdom because the right hemisphere identifies patterns and the bigger picture, which basically means the Bible is an encrypted occult text talking about human consciousness, not about a man who lived thousands of years ago. Jesus was an instructor and a mystic teaching people about how to use their consciousness. But people have taken this literally, creating religions out of it for mass control, when the whole thing is an allegory about what's going on in your brain. Don't you think it's crazy how you're governing 50 trillion cells right now? And they religiously obey every single thought command that you give them? There's a whole world in there. There's a whole 50 trillion living beings working together. There's a whole universe in your body. And you're commanding it. You're the ruler of it. Insane. Did you know that the sun setting is the symbol for Libra? The scales of Libra represent the balancing of the sun between the summer and the winter. The yearly cycle of the sun is a daily cycle. Spring is the morning time. Summer is midday. Libra is the evening. The night time is winter. As above, so below. And did you know your body is ruled by the zodiac signs? And Libra rules your core. And the muscles in your core is the center, which helps you stand upright and have balance, just like the balancing scales of Libra. There's no way that this is just all a coincidence. This is evidence that we live in a beautifully designed reality. The sun's rhythm and balance is manifested in your body, in your core. We're not monkeys turned into humans, and we're not living on a spinning rock in the middle of space. If you don't like something, change it. And if you can't change it, change your mental attitude towards it. Don't complain. This is the problem with the world. They live in reaction. Remember, all physical objects are first thought and then manifested physically. We live in a mental universe. The mind is the cause. And if the mind is locked in reaction, you're just going to live in a constant cycle of cause and effect of negativity. We need to change our minds to become causal consciousness. We need the mind to become the cause, not the reaction to the effects. The Bible is an encoded story. Jesus tells you to meditate. Matthew 6:34. Jesus repeats, "Take no thought," 5 times. This is how you access higher realms of consciousness. By removing thought, you detach from your personal consciousness and your attachments to the material world. The mind then becomes a gateway into the inner realms of consciousness. Jesus repeats, "Take no thought," 5 times. Take no thought and turn off the 5 senses. When the body is completely still for a long period of time, you lose all sensations and you no longer feel your body. And when there is no thought in your mind, it allows your consciousness to enter a trance-like state, and you can access the astral plane and altered states of consciousness. The Bible is an encoded manuscript, but the church doesn't want you to know this. The world is suffering because we do not understand ourselves. The biggest lie they ever told you is that death is a mystery. You can figure this stuff out for yourself. You die every single night. That's why they say sleep is the cousin of death. Because when you go to sleep, you return to the self inside the mind. The person who is inside your mind, who wakes up when you go to sleep, is the immortal self, the limitless self, the person that can imagine, fly around in the astral plane, fly around in your dreams. This is the infinite realm of the astral plane that you access every time you dream. And when you die, it's just a bigger version of the nighttime. Nighttime is death, daytime is life. Daytime is the external expression of the mind with the external body, the external self. And when you go to sleep, you return back to the darkness, into the internal self, the self inside the mind. That's why you're called an individual. A dual. You are dual nature, physical, spiritual. The self inside the mind will never die. That person who speaks visions in your mind will never die. You are immortal. Smoking weed every day can destroy your life because it prevents you from dreaming, and if you are not dreaming, you need to listen up and be worried. Dreaming is a form of the subconscious mind processing everything. All of the traumas that we hide, all of the thoughts that we think throughout the day, everything we see in the daytime, it's all being stored within the subconscious mind. Therefore, when you dream, you are seeing a visualization of your subconscious mind processing everything that's gone inside of you. If you do not dream, which weed prevents, then the subconscious mind is not processing. And if you are not processing something, it's all being stored within you. And it will process in another indirect way. For example, people who smoke weed all the time, like myself back in the day, I would randomly come out with outbursts of rage, outbursts of emotion, outbursts of sadness. This is because I was not dreaming, and the subconscious mind was not processing any of the emotional things going on inside of me. Anything that comes in has to come out in some form or way. Dreaming is essential for subconscious health. And if you do not process, it will seek to control you. This is why I stopped smoking weed. And yes, it's good for some reasons. You can use it for deep meditations. You can use it for other things of altered states of consciousness. But me personally, I just don't smoke it every day, and I haven't smoked it in the last 2 years. The biggest cheat code in life is understanding that the world is mental. Every object you see around you are first thought, then made manifested physically. Which means mind and matter are one, they are not inseparable. Matter is the expression and crystallization of mind. Your reality is simply just a crystallization of every thought you thought in the past. This then reveals the secret that you are God. Why? Human body, nature, the stars, was all thought into existence by the mind of God. God's mind manifested the world. Now you, a co-creator of God, think your world into existence. You are a smaller version of God. The same power of thought that God used to manifest the world is the same power of thought you manifest your world. As above, so below. This is why the Bible says you are made in the image of God. Your mind is cut out of the same fabric of God's mind. Everything is a reflection within the universe. The only problem is people's thinking. People's thinking is in reaction to the external world, and the external world is simply just the effect of their mind, which creates a constant cycle of negative manifestation. We need to change the mind from reaction thinking into causal thinking, creating better causes that create better effects. Life is simple. The ones who understand how the mind works win. The ones who understand how the mind and the human psyche works rule over the rest. This is exactly what we see today.
Don't you think it's scary when you realize that your brain is always trying to validate every single belief that you have? Let's say you're in a car crash and you magically survive. If you believe in Jesus, you're going to say, well, Jesus saved me. Or if the same person was in a car crash but they believe in Allah, they're going to say Allah saved them from the car crash. But the truth remains the same, that the substance of mind is beneath all of this. Therefore, they don't realize that mind is the substance of God. If you believe you're a success, your mind will scan the environment to validate that belief and create that reality. If you believe you're a failure, your mind will look for anything in your outside reality to validate that internal belief and make that reality. Your mind is always unfolding creation and reality. We have to understand this. The law of polarity, ice and water, they are the same thing but just different degrees. This means we can transmute our mindsets from darkness into light. This is how you gain your power, transmuting all the negative aspects of your mind into a positive light one. That's how you become powerful. Here is a Mandela effect for you. E.T. phone home. And now saying E.T. never said E.T. phone home, which is clearly what I remember as a child watching this film. Gets even weirder. Listen to this. They're now saying he says E.T. home phone.
E.T. home phone.
I've never been a big believer in the Mandela effect, but this one is very weird. They always show you the truth in plain sight within symbolism. E.T. is an extraterrestrial, meaning he comes from another world, and he's pointing at his heart when he says E.T. home phone. Just how Jesus tells you God lives within your heart, also doing the same gesture as E.T. E.T. is symbolic of the human soul, which is extraterrestrial. Going back home is coming back into contact with your soul, pure love, removing all the false layers of your ego identification to
come into contact with your pure soul self. Don't you think it's strange how the baseball court is a Masonic compass? The baseball has 33 stitchings on each line. The baseball bat is 33 inches long and 33 ounce in weight, just like the 33 degrees of Scottish Rite Freemasonry. And if you look at Washington from above and you connect all of these locations, it creates a Masonic compass. This is a satanic Bible created by Anton Levetsky. And he says in this book, Masonic orders have contained the most influential men in many governments. Masonry is not inherently evil. There is light and dark. There are good Masons, there are bad Masons. But this is very interesting.
AI is ready to destroy the internet right now, and I'm here to give you a warning and a prediction of what's going to happen with AI. You've probably already seen the videos of Jake Paul doing his makeup. Yes, these are AI generated videos and you can't even tell if it's real or fake. Now, this is where the problem comes. Within the next few months, people are going to start to get framed by AI generated videos. Imagine someone creating a hyper-realistic official, doing something scandalous, and claiming it's leaked footage. This could be like a politician, a person in government, and creating a video, and people believe it, and the outrage spreads. Then the censorship follows. The government of the world will step in with a new regulation saying, we need to control this technology, people are getting framed. Although this will be good on one hand because people will no longer get framed by AI videos, however, on the other hand, to the same extent of that control will extend into what we say, what we post, what we create. It will become the perfect excuse to regulate the internet on a level we've never seen before. To me, this feels intentional. Create chaos, then bring the order. Problem, reaction, solution. So be very careful. I'm giving you a warning of what's going to happen on the internet.
What do all these words have in common? They all have the word meant in them. What does the word meant mean? It means mental. The word meant comes from a Latin word mens, which pretty much means mind. Environment. I always say, your environment is stronger than your willpower. The people you surround yourself with are affecting your mental state, and your mind is the seed of all physical creation. Physical creation is a manifestation and crystallization of thought, the mind. Government. Govern mind. The word government literally means mind control. Enlightenment. Light in the mind. You become enlightened the more information you have inside of your mind. Knowledge is power. Advertisement. It's all a mental game to make you and paint pictures in your mind to make you desire something so you take an action and buy a product. It's all a mental game. You have to learn how the mind works. If you do not know how the mind works, you will lose in life. Because life is very simple. It is a mental game. And this matrix is a psychological game. If you don't know how to work the mind, you will lose the game. So how is it the ancients carved out the interior of this stone so detailed and sophisticated? With a hammer and chisel, you would damage the exterior design. What you are seeing here is the leftovers of the ancient human mind. All physical creation is first created in the mind, so this shows how intelligent the ancients truly were. So the question is, if you watch pornography, you train yourself to use other people. If you watch pornography, you're using someone else on a video, so you can feel something inside of you. Subconsciously, this makes you view other people as an object. If you watch pornography, you're training your brain to be the person in the corner of a room watching other people have pleasure. Subconsciously, this can ruin your confidence because in the back of your mind, you know you're doing something wrong in your alone times. Lust is considered a sin is because it destroys life. Orgasm floods the brain with dopamine, which trains your brain to think that you have achieved something. which then slowly eats away at your motivation to actually achieve something great in your life. You're training yourself to view people as objects. You're training yourself to destroy your motivation, and you're training yourself that you have achieved everything. Your body is the earth, and if you don't think so, you can stay lost in the matrix. The body is a piece of technology that runs a simulation to your consciousness. We never truly encounter the external world. Everything we feel, we touch, is the brain's interpretation of electrical signals going through our nervous system. We don't hear with our ear. What we hear is our brain's interpretation of the vibration entering our ear. You touch, taste, smell, hear, and see with your brain. Reality is a simulation produced by the physical body. The mainstream media wants you to think that you are inside this universe and you are experiencing the universe. But in fact, you are the universe creating the universe right now. They want you to think reality was created and now you're just experiencing it, when in fact it's the complete opposite. Reality is not fixed, it's malleable. We, as a collective, change and generate the universe. Creation is never ending. Your mind, emotions, thoughts, all of these things exist outside of time, space, and matter. Your higher consciousness uses the body as a vessel to interact with the 3D world. This is why the occult says mind over matter, the internal world controlling the external world. Do not let the external world control you. The fastest way you can make money is by not chasing money. Instead, we need to shift our mindset. Money is the effect of what you do. If we only focus on the money, we will feel unfulfilled when we reach it, and we'll be forever chasing in this rat race. Instead of wanting money, we should want to create as much change and benefit to people as possible. If a person buys your service, give them 120%. Make sure that you're going to look after this person. The more you change people's lives and the more people's lives you change, the money will come as a side effect of your good work. I wake up in the morning and the first thing I think is, how can I benefit people? How can I make them learn something new about themselves? If we only focus on money, we will stress, we'll have anxiety, we'll never feel fulfilled. The story of Jesus is an allegory for something that happens in your brain. The word Christ means Christos in Greek, meaning oil. There is a sacred fluid in your brain called cerebrospinal fluid, which is what the ancients called Christ oil. Every religion has a sacred river. For the Egyptians, it's the river Nile. For Christians, it's the Jordan River. This river is your spinal cord. Jesus, the oil, was in Nazareth, the top of the river, which corresponds to the skull, with Joseph and Mary. Joseph is the male pineal gland, Mary is the female pituitary gland. King Nazareth wants to kill Jesus, the oil, so Jesus goes down the Jordan River, which is the oil being released from the brain down your spinal cord, to Bethlehem. Jesus going to Bethlehem corresponds to the Dead Sea part of the Jordan River. The Dead Sea is your sacrum bone, where the cerebrospinal fluid goes to the bottom of the spinal column. Joseph and Mary are waiting for Jesus to return up from the bottom of the river back to Nazareth. Joseph corresponds to the pineal gland, the male, and Mary corresponds to the pituitary gland, female. When Jesus returns from Bethlehem to Nazareth, he gets crucified and killed at the age of 33 in a place called Golgotha. Golgotha translates to a place in the skull. The human spine has 33 vertebrae, so this process of Jesus is symbolic of the cerebrospinal fluid produced in the brain falling down the spinal column and being resurrected through a Kundalini awakening. This is the same reason why Santa Claus comes down the chimney with presents, drops them off, and returns. Returning the cerebrospinal fluid is said to open up parts of your brain that were not active before. It also helps sustain and regenerate the life of the cells of the body. Therefore, the story of Jesus is about the resurrection of the human life and consciousness. If you want to succeed in life, you have to understand this one thing. There is an energy field all around you. Science tells you this. But what they don't tell you is that there is a field of mind surrounding you. The mind is not the brain. The brain is a physical manifestation of the mind. Surrounding you right now is a vast field of mind filled with infinite thoughts of the universe. We don't create thoughts, we receive them based on our mind set, whatever we set our mind to. And the pineal gland is the radio receiver for this mental field and how we interact with the mental field. The way thoughts express themselves is like a tree pattern. If you set your mind to the thought of a triangle, that triangle is linked like a chain to another thought, to the number 3, for example. Then the number 3 will lead you to another thought, for example, thought, emotion, action. Then that will lead to another thought, which will lead to creation, how you create. So thoughts act like a chain effect. You think of one and it opens up a branch to all the related character of thoughts. Therefore, if you start to set your mind on negative things, you will lead yourself down a chain of thought to all the negative possible outcomes to the character of that thought. Before I present a lecture to my private community, Ethereal University, I will sit down in silence. I set my mind on the topic I'm going to talk about, so I penetrate that specific pocket of thought within the mental plane. Then I let my mind branch off into all the different things that I need to talk about, and it will give me ideas, different things of how to talk about it. To the person who thinks unconsciously and randomly, you will not have much power. But once you start to train your mind and to penetrate these different pockets within the mental plane, you can really start to gain ideas by following the chain of thoughts. Thinking outside the box has a deeper meaning than what we've been led to believe. Inside the occult, the circle means the spiritual plane, the eternal. Triangle represents the life force plane, the etheric plane. The square represents the material physical plane. Most people only think in reaction of their 5 senses. The untrained mind only thinks within the boundaries of the material self. The truth is, the mind exists outside of time, space, and matter. The body remains in the present moment, while the mind can think in the past, present, and the future, which means the mind operates outside of the laws of time, space, and matter, while the body exists within time as it's stuck in the present moment. The physical plane is the lowest dimension there is in the universe. Physical plane is the outcome, it's the effect, it's the manifested world. Humans have the ability to use higher dimensions of consciousness to create change in the physical plane, such as the astral plane, which is the imagination. Thinking outside the box, the physical body, means that you should use the higher dimensions of consciousness because you are not your body. You are a soul, and the soul uses the mind to think, and the mind thinks thoughts, and the thoughts take the body of imagination. The imagination takes the body of energy, and energy crystallizes into physical matter. Freemasons show a ladder rising off the ground, and the ground has checkered squares, symbolizing the duality of the material plane, and ascending consciousness to the higher planes of existence, symbolized by the stars. Thinking outside the box has a deeper meaning than what we've been led to believe. Inside the occult, the circle means the spiritual plane, the eternal. Triangle represents the life force plane, the etheric plane. The square represents the material physical plane. Most people only think in reaction of their 5 senses. The untrained mind only thinks within the boundaries of the material self. The truth is, the mind exists outside of time, space, and matter. The body remains in the present moment, while the mind can think in the past, present, and the future, which means the mind operates outside of the laws of time, space, and matter, while the body exists within time as it's stuck in the present moment. The physical plane is the lowest dimension there is in the universe. Physical plane is the outcome, it's the effect, it's the manifested world. Humans have the ability to use higher dimensions of consciousness to create change in the physical plane, such as the astral plane, which is the imagination. Thinking outside the box, the physical body, means that you should use the higher dimensions of consciousness because you are not your body. You are a soul, and the soul uses the mind to think, and the mind thinks thoughts, and the thoughts take the body of imagination. The imagination takes the body of energy, and energy crystallizes into physical matter. Freemasons show a ladder rising off the ground, and the ground has checkered squares, symbolizing the duality of the material plane, and ascending consciousness to the higher planes of existence, symbolized by the stars. Thinking outside the box has a deeper meaning than what we've been led to believe. Inside the occult, the circle means the spiritual plane, the eternal. Triangle represents the life force plane, the etheric plane. The square represents the material physical plane. Most people only think in reaction of their 5 senses. The untrained mind only thinks within the boundaries of the material self. The truth is, the mind exists outside of time, space, and matter. The body remains in the present moment, while the mind can think in the past, present, and the future, which means the mind operates outside of the laws of time, space, and matter, while the body exists within time as it's stuck in the present moment. The physical plane is the lowest dimension there is in the universe. Physical plane is the outcome, it's the effect, it's the manifested world. Humans have the ability to use higher dimensions of consciousness to create change in the physical plane, such as the astral plane, which is the imagination. Thinking outside the box, the physical body, means that you should use the higher dimensions of consciousness because you are not your body. You are a soul, and the soul uses the mind to think, and the mind thinks thoughts, and the thoughts take the body of imagination. The imagination takes the body of energy, and energy crystallizes into physical matter. Freemasons show a ladder rising off the ground, and the ground has checkered squares, symbolizing the duality of the material plane, and ascending consciousness to the higher planes of existence, symbolized by the stars.